When's the last time you've ever heard of our jails ever being undercrowded? Never. It's never been undercrowded. Now, 33 years on the department, plus my dad's time in there, we've always been overcrowded. And to me, that's just a lack of vision for the sheriff. If we've known we've been this way for years and years and years, how are we going to get out of this particular problem here in the future? It's not a hard fix. It's just a matter of working at it. And one very good way of doing this is dealing with our mentally ill. We're looking at 15 to 20% of our incarcerated inmates truly are mentally ill. Matter of fact, it's been said over and over again that Twin Towers is the largest mental health hospital in the United States. The Twin Towers Correctional Facility as a mental health hospital, that's an oxymoron. That's not the way this thing should be. I don't ever envision that the public would want us to think that our mentally ill truly need to be locked up in a jail setting. But here, this is the fix. What I love to see is a mental health court that's run 7 days a week, and that mental health court would then be a conglomeration of the courts and the justices, the DAs, PDs, law enforcement, mental health clinicians, as a pre-booking process. When we deal with the mentally ill out on the streets, and we come across issues that we deem them incapable of taking care of themselves and actually creating problems for the community, then we take them out of the environment. But rather than lock them up in a jail setting, have this mental health course do an assessment immediately right there, and then divert that particular patient out to a mental health clinic or facility where they can actually get the treatment they deserve. Our deputies aren't as trained as well as we should be in mental health issues. But we're on the streets daily dealing with the mentally ill constantly. And to me, that is one of the big things I really need to push for the LA County Sheriff's Department, trying to get the need and understanding of dealing and handling mentally ill patients. Right now, we've got 3 mental health evaluation teams. And a team is 1 deputy and 1 mental health clinician. And we have 3 of these teams. And what they do is they're available for any call for any deputy out in the field when they come across someone that's mentally ill. You know, we've got 10 million residents in LA County. We've got 24 sheriff stations. We cover 3,000 square miles. 3 teams is not enough. We need 1 team minimum for each particular station where we can help the patient and not allow them to get themselves caught up in a situation which actually causes criminal activity. We can be very good on the front end of all this. But if I'm able to divert 15 to 20% of the inmates that are mentally ill away from a jail setting, that's going to save me about 3,500, maybe 4,000 bed space. Now, that's going to give me 4,000 beds that will be available for inmates that truly deserve and need to be there. Right now, the women that are incarcerated in the LA County jail system only do 10% of their time. The men do 20% of their time. That's not justice as well. Those that truly need to be locked up need to be punished and or stay there for their entire tenure, or stay because that's what the judge had ordered. But even more so, we've got our AB 109s, and those are the ones that the state prison are pushing back down on us because the state prison is overpopulated. And so our jails are critically at mass peak right now. But we need to get something going ASAP as far as dealing with the mentally ill and create this bed space. So truly, it's a win-win. Mentally ill can leave, and those that truly need to be there can go ahead and be incarcerated. Dealing with the mentally ill is absolutely critical for our deputies to understand the concepts and nuances of what it takes to handle a person whose mental capacities are impaired. There's a graphic example of this with a young lady named Mitrice Richardson. Here she was at a restaurant in the Lost Hills area, and it was plainly evident to all the patrons in there that she was mentally ill. Talking about talking to the Martians and tell that she was didn't have all her faculties there. They didn't know what to do, so they called the Sheriff's Department. We came out and realized that she was unable to take care of herself or that of others, and we ended up arresting her in protective custody. Brought her to the station at 10 o'clock at night. Received a phone call from her mother telling her that her mother was concerned. Please keep her there until 8 in the morning. She would pick her up. But for some reason, and still in the capacity of not being able to take care of herself, the deputies released her at 12:30 at night. A female, 12:30 at night, who does not live in the area, whose car was impounded, has got no identification, no money. I mean, this is uncalled for. We wouldn't do this to anyone who had complete faculties, let alone someone that's mentally ill. Why would we do this? And here's where it's critical for the deputies of the LA County Sheriff's Department to understand the importance of dealing with the mentally ill. And the importance of just dealing with the public in a reasonable and a prudent manner. And it's shameful. And the sad part is that Mitrice ended up dead. They found her body months and months later. And this is something that could have been prevented. This is something that should have been handled a lot differently. And this is something that I think there should have been some greater accountability on every member of the LA County Sheriff's Department that had any input or any actions in this particular atrocious case. My pathway to reform is my roadmap. You can find it on my website, bobolmsted.com, and it's a 17-page comprehensive document. That and other aspects that need to be looked at on the LA County Sheriff's Department.